The moment you put your inner experience into words, like this is anxiety, this is stress, I'm scared but continuing, the brain registers. There is action, there is control, there is no immediate danger.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Gabby Rosalie podcast, a platform devoted to expanding our lives by connecting to the wisdom of the collective. Through relatable discussions on topics like communication, connection, leadership, science, and spirituality, we offer revolutionary perspectives and practical tools for creating positive change, right here, right now. But I don't want this to be some stiff lecture hall-esque vibe, so we make it fun, raw, and real. With expert guests and relatable conversations, my goal is to inspire you to break through limitations and remember that it is possible to live a life you're excited to wake up to every day. Thank you for being here and enjoy the episode.
Y'all mind if I use this podcast episode to verbally process my emotions and what's moving through me in my life right now? Do y'all mind if we do that together? Because here's the frickin' deal. It's Thursday, and I have an episode to release on Monday. And guess what? I don't have one recorded. Uh-oh. I told myself that for season 5, starting in 2026, I would release 2 episodes every month. That is every 2 weeks, a new episode on Mondays. And we are not dropping the ball. It is only January 15th, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot and will not drop that ball. So here we are. And I don't have an agenda for today, but I do have 2 things that I want to talk about. So I don't have planned questions like I have in my most recent episodes with guests. I don't have a list of journal prompts or reflection codes. I really just want to talk about what is alive in me this past week or so, really post-break and moving through, what's going on in my life right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I think that episodes like this are just as important as some of the really content-heavy episodes that I've released that I think are revolutionary and super valuable. But I think that being in the frequency of authenticity and expression for this season, it's so important for me to honor what I need from this podcast as well. And I am a verbal processor through and through. In fact, verbal processing is like an extremely beneficial way to move through your emotions. And I actually want to read this thread to y'all because my boyfriend's mom sent it to me the other day and it just made so much sense because I'm like, yo, this is me and this is how my brain works. So let me find it for y'all real quick. Okay, I found it. And I want to give this account credit because I'm literally going to read the whole thread because I think it's so fascinating. Okay, it's Time Investors on Instagram. Okay, so in the 1960s, and I'm literally going to read this verbatim. So, quote, begin. In the 1960s, scientists ran one of the darkest psychology experiments ever done. Men were locked in total blackout for 48 hours, and almost every single one lost their mind, except one. What he did to survive was so strange, it later became a secret technique used by special forces, firefighters, and surgeons. Here's the part no one was supposed to know. The experiment was simple and brutal. Volunteers were placed in a sealed room, no light, no phones, no clocks, no sound, just pure darkness for 48 hours. Within hours, most began breaking down. In total darkness, the brain loses its anchor. Symptoms appeared fast. Racing heart, sudden panic, distorted time, visual hallucinations, disorientation, rising terror. Scientists documented one phrase repeatedly: I feel like I'm disappearing. By hour 24, most participants were begging to leave. Some cried, some screamed, some curled up silently, dissociating. But one man stayed calm. Perfectly calm. He didn't shut down. He didn't panic. He didn't hallucinate. Researchers thought he was special. A monk? A trained meditator? A soldier? No. He was an extraordinary man. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. He was an ordinary man with an extraordinary behavior, and that was the key. While everyone else sat in silence, he talked out loud, constantly. He would say things like, I'm sitting down, I'm breathing, my hand is moving, I'm touching the wall. Not affirmations, not spirituality, just describing reality. What he accidentally did was activate the left hemisphere speech centers, keeping them online. When speech is active, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, cannot fully dominate. Talking prevents emotional takeover. Silence amplifies fear. Neurologists later named this phenomenon verbal grounding, a psychological shield against panic. a way to pin the mind to reality when everything inside feels chaotic. The moment you put your inner experience into words, like this is anxiety, this is stress, I'm scared but continuing, the brain registers. There is action, there is control, there is no immediate danger. Within 90 seconds, breathing and heart rate begin to stabilize. This technique quietly made its way into high-pressure professions like special forces, firefighters, trauma surgeons, search and rescue teams. They all call them verbal check-ins or status calls, short spoken sentences to kill rising panic. Examples you probably heard before: target in sight, making the incision, advancing, pulling back. People think it's discipline, order. It's not. It's biology. Speech stops fear from hijacking the mind. Use it in your own life. During panic, say what you feel. During burnout, describe what's happening. During overwhelm, narrate the next small action. One clear sentence is enough to bring your brain back online. When you speak, fear listens and fear stays quiet. End quote. So remember, this is Time Investors on Instagram. This is not coming from my brain, although it made so much sense to me when I read this thread, because that is exactly what I do when I am overwhelmed by the heaviness of my emotions or when fear is rising in my body, in my brain, in my heart. I talk out loud. And this is something that I have done since I was little, talk out loud to myself. And I think that there's an interesting line between coming off like you're crazy and then doing things that are necessary and important for you to verbally ground yourself. So talking out loud to yourself can be deemed crazy by a lot of other people, but for me, it's super normal, and it's really essential to move through and make sense of what's going on and bring me back to reality when fear starts to rise. And so this thread was kind of like oh my gosh, you have intuitively been doing what has been proven to reduce anxiety and bring you back from fear and panic and into reality and autonomy and control. So one of the things that I've been moving through this week, and I was talking to my executive coach about it on Monday because we had a session, and it was actually our last session of our 4-month coaching package that I invested in with her. And I'm starting a new one with a new coach actually this weekend, because I just joined a 90-day coaching intensive. We start this weekend in Atlanta, and it's an in-person skills lab. And then from there, I'll meet weekly with a new coach. So I'm super, super excited for that. But my current coach, Andrea, in our session, we were kind of talking about what I wanted to focus on. And I feel like I'm a pretty intuitive person when it comes to knowing what I need, whether that is goal aligned coaching, talking about accountability systems, brainstorming, all that fun stuff. And then I know when I need more soul aligned coaching, when I need to go deeper into where my limiting beliefs are, what's holding me back, where I'm getting in my own way, processing certain emotions that might be showing up consciously or subconsciously in how I approach my business, my relationships, et cetera, et cetera. And so we were talking about the feelings of loneliness that I have been having recently, the feelings of being trapped inside maybe a self-made cage, because I'm full-time in my business now. I am living in a new city, in an apartment. I am now in a really happy and healthy relationship, but I find myself when I'm at home working from home throughout the week, I feel like I am in a cage, and I also feel quite lonely. I've been coming up close and personal with this very visceral sensation of an emptiness inside of me when I am not busy or I'm not actively doing something. And I am not a person who has ever really struggled with loneliness. And I think it's interesting because even as I'm talking about this, it's like, how could you be lonely? You have so many people in your life that love you. And really what it is I went home for break, and I was home with my family and some of my closest friends and loved ones. And I was home for 10 days, and I came back to the city, and I spent 5 days house sitting with my boyfriend. And then I kind of had to snap back to reality, is what it felt like, and come back to my apartment and kind of like the work schedule that I have created for myself. And so like I just want to remind myself there that I've created this schedule and this life that I have for myself in tandem with God, of course. But yeah, it just felt like a really stark contrast from being closely connected physically and in conversation with my closest loved ones for that long time, that what 2 week felt like forever time period. And so it was a really stark contrast, and I was sitting with some of those feelings, and they've been surfacing over the last couple of weeks as I have been noticing myself distracting from this emptiness that I feel when I'm not actively doing something, distracting myself with scrolling, distracting myself with snacks, distracting myself with trying really hard to make plans so that I don't have to sit with those feelings of being away from my people and grieving that kind of chapter of my life where that was my reality. And it's not that I would change my current reality at all. I think that grief can coexist in the same space and in the same emotional body as appreciation for where you're at. You can grieve where you have been and what is no longer, just as much. I mean, I should say in the same breath as you can celebrate what's currently happening or what's currently alive, present in your life. And so, yeah, I was distracting, and I still find myself oftentimes distracting from feeling that heaviness of grief. That's really what it is. Grief of mourning my time, and maybe for the rest of my life I won't ever be living at home or living in the same 20-minute radius of some of my best friends. And so yeah, it's just interesting, and who knows, maybe I will. And when it comes to overthinking, we tend to only overthink the worst outcome or the worst case scenario. So I need to also remind myself that if I'm going to overthink, I might as well overthink how good it could possibly get or what is possible. So anyways, I am working with Andrea, and we're talking about some of the things that I'm feeling. I'm feeling trapped physically in my apartment space because it's small, and my home office is also my bedroom. It's also where I do yoga and meditate and all that fun stuff. And so the same place that I'm trying to show up, and I'm leading workshops and meetings, and I'm on a rigid schedule, and I'm pouring a lot of energy into the work that I'm doing. I'm in activation mode. I am in action mode, is the same place that I'm trying to relax. So this feeling of being physically trapped in a chaotic, energetic space has been really present for me. I've also been feeling a little trapped in maybe some of the routines that I've created for myself. I have found it very difficult, and I go through waves, and I try to remind myself that I have the choice. And I've found it so difficult as a business owner to break free from this mentality that the only way to be successful and the only way to know that you're actively showing up and consistently doing what needs to be done in order to succeed is to follow the 9 to 5 mold, is to be working throughout your day and taking a lunch break or, brief breaks here and there. Because I know that is not the only way. Intellectually, I know this, but this belief that I hold goes so much deeper than recognition that there are other options. Like, it is a belief that is so hardwired into me, and I am actively working to rewrite with beliefs that are aligned with the kind of person that I want to be and the kind of lifestyle that I'm calling in, one of peace and alignment and freedom and excitement. Of course, we're going to go through waves of grief and stress and all of these things, but from a sustainability point of view, this mold that I am almost subconsciously forcing myself to adhere to because I feel like that is the framework for success, it's draining me. And even though I'm conscious of it and I can employ my autonomy to act differently, it's a very interesting battle. And so I'm in the thick of that right now. And that's a big reason why I hired a coach, because I knew that this was not a project that I wanted to take on my own. And I have blind spots that Andrea has helped me to discover. There have been so many areas that I've been getting in my own way that she has exposed to me. And that is exactly why I believe in coaching. That's why I'm a coach myself, because I think that we need help to see our blind spots sometimes. Just like when we're driving cars, we have that little monitor on our rear view mirrors that tells us when we got somebody in our blind spot. I don't know about y'all, but if I didn't have one of those bad boys, I'd probably have a number of car crashes under my belt, more than I would like to admit. But yeah, we need help seeing our blind spots, and we need help identifying where we're getting in our own way. And so, anyways, I'm moving through these feelings, and that's all great, and whatever. But yeah, I want to shout you out if you're also kind of in the thick of it right now. Congratulations. That's a really big step from being oblivious to maybe what you're moving through, but now you're actively moving through it, and that's another initiation in and of itself. And so just want to applaud you, and also remind you that every situation that we recognize we want to change does not mean that we're going to be able to, or even should be able to, fix it immediately. Yeah, it's just, it is the expansion process that I'm really leaning into in my life right now. And one of the other things that I want to touch on is recently, very recently, like in the last week or so, I have been feeling a very restless energy around my feelings that time is fleeting. I will be in the moment, I will be actively doing something with someone, and there's a voice in the back of my head that has been very loud in the last couple of days that's like, oh my God, this is going to end soon, and then you're going to have to go back, and then you're going to have to go to work on Monday, and then you're going to have to be... Girl, it is Saturday afternoon. What is you doing? Why is it that I am with my boyfriend, and we're literally together, and I'm like, oh my God, I miss you? What? It's so interesting. It's so interesting. And so, yeah, I've been really sitting with that feeling that time is fleeting, and considering how and why that feeling is coming up, why my relationship with time and impermanence is being tested right now, what that might be calling me deeper into. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know when I feel like time is fleeting, I can verbally ground what's going on. What am I feeling right now? What is my current reality? That's a great tool. Connecting to the breath is also a really great tool as well. Sometimes when I really need things to slow down, just taking a deep inhale for 4 seconds, holding my breath for another 4, and exhaling for 6. Maybe holding for 4 at the bottom on empty. It's another helpful tool. Getting back into the body helps me to get back into the present moment. So sometimes if I'm feeling like time is fleeting, or I am not present, or maybe my energetic body is out of my physical body, which is oftentimes when I think I feel ungrounded in the present moment, I can get back into my body and move through some of that by whether it's tapping, or it's like shaking my hands, or there's so many ways that you can sit with that feeling, but also maybe improve your reaction to some of those emotions, right? Like, we don't want to fall into fear and panic. We want to recognize the emotion and honor that it's trying to teach us something, and then say, okay, I have tools. I also have to wonder, behind this idea of time being fleeting, what am I worried that I'm missing out on? If I'm worried that time is going to run out, what does that mean that I am going to be missing out on? Because usually the things that I'm experiencing in the moments that I'm also having thoughts about time being fleeting, or, oh no, this is going to end soon, are usually the kinds of experiences that I would be afraid I'm going to be missing out on if time were to really cease to exist, if life were to cease to exist. If this was going to come to an end, I would fear missing out on the exact things that I'm experiencing in those moments that I'm entertaining these thoughts. It is so fascinating. Why do we do this, guys? And I feel like so many of you can relate to me. You know what's also interesting? I don't even know who's listening to this episode. Like I know who, because I have people who, message me, or I know how many downloads each episode gets, and that's great. That's awesome. But I wonder who is listening to me talking right now. It's so freaky. Like, I'm alone in my room right now recording this episode, but you are listening to me as if we are having a conversation. I am sitting next to you. We are in the same energetic space right now. You are hearing the frequency of my voice and receiving me from a place of presence in this exact moment in time. We are living in the same moment right now. Knock, knock, who's there? Well, guys, speaking of time being fleeting, I have an hour and a half before I have to leave for swim practice. So I'm going to wrap this episode up. If you've made it this far and you're still listening to my verbal grounding episode, thank you. And I want to say a prayer over us. God, thank you. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to explore our thoughts and our feelings, to question existence, question why we feel things and what they mean. God, thank you for filling us with curiosity. Thank you for giving us the capacity to feel. And God, I just pray for whoever's listening to this episode right now, and I pray over myself as well, that you may guide us into deeper relationship with you and who you are. God, may you make yourself known to us. May you shower us in your love and your wisdom and your grace, so that we may be changed in our hearts to know you and love you, and to understand that each experience that we have in this lifetime has purpose, has meaning. God, may you give us the strength and the courage to confront our struggles and overcome our battles, knowing who we are and what we are capable of in you and who you've made us to be. God, may you give us the full capacity to celebrate our successes and to hold great, abundant amounts of joy and excitement and love for ourselves and for other people and for this earth and for this life. God, may you help us to expand in both directions, knowing that we are here and called to serve a purpose outside of just ourselves. God, may you make it very clear to us where you are calling us to go deeper. God, may you make sense of our experiences and our emotions to us according to your will and your divine timing. And God, I just want to pray that you protect the person listening to this episode right now. God, I pray for your protection over myself as well. I pray that you protect us from darkness and from any evil energies that drain us of love, that drain us of presence. God, may you put a shield around us full of presence and appreciation and gratitude for each moment. And God, may you hold us in your arms and your love and your warmth in everything that we do and everywhere that we go. And may you help us to pour that love and that warmth and that gratitude out into the lives and the hearts of other people. God, may you use us as kind stewards of your love and your grace in all things that we do, in all places that we go. God, I pray that you bring the people into our lives that are here to help support us in this journey. And God, may you equip us with the wisdom to help serve others as well. Amen. I feel a lot more grounded. And yeah, I am grateful that I just recorded this episode. And I'm grateful that you listened. And I love you so much. And if you were listening to this episode, or maybe you're still listening up until this point, well, I guess you'd have to be listening if you were to be hearing these words right now. Let me know. Like, send me a message somewhere, because I'm genuinely curious. I love you so much, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Hold up now, y'all. Before you head out, I need to say thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode, and most importantly, thank you for making the conscious decision to invest in yourself and expand your mind, heart, and spirit. Because you showed up for you, you are helping others live better lives. Whether you know it or not, you are inspiring others daily. And if you're feeling fired up, keep the domino effect alive and share this episode with someone that you love. If you're feeling extra saucy, leave the show a review, because it really, really helps me out. And come back and hang with me again sometime. New episodes every other Monday at 8 a.m. Keep shining your unique light. I see you, and I love you.